Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Today, beneficiaries of Social Security are going to be receiving payments of right around $1,900 on average. So we are going to be going over who is eligible to be receiving those payments today. Plus, many public service workers, including firefighters, police officers, teachers, and many more, unfortunately receive a reduced Social Security payment because they're also receiving a pension. Well, that could soon very well change, and there is a very good reason why it could change very, very soon, so we will be covering that as well. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stocks or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not have to make a single penny for a deposit. At that point, once you do link your bank account, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so in 2024, if you or a family member or a friend, acquaintance, or whoever worked in the public service sector, and whether they were a police officer, a teacher, a firefighter, or anyone else who received a pension, unfortunately, because they are now receiving a pension, even if they also worked a private sector job where they had to pay taxes into Social Security, where they had to pay that FICA tax, where they would normally be eligible for a higher Social Security benefit, just because of the very fact that they're right now receiving a pension because of a law that they made back in the 1980s, because of the fact that they are receiving that pension, their Social Security benefit is reduced by quite a bit. So they're receiving a lot less in Social Security benefits than what they should be, even though at least for a few years they were paying into the Social Security Trust Fund and they were being taxed on that FICA tax. However, that could very soon change because right now there is a bill in Congress. It's already been introduced in the House. It's also been introduced in the Senate. And this is something that they keep reintroducing even though it has a lot of support. This isn't a bill that only has support from Republicans. This is not a bill that only has support from Democrats. That's what we see with a lot of bills where it might have a lot of support, but they're all coming from Republicans, so Democrats are not getting on board with it. Or we have a bill that only Democrats love and Republicans hate. This bill is actually bipartisan. It has Republican support and it has Democratic support. This bill is called the Social Security Fairness Act, and if it were to pass, it would make it so no longer would the days be if you were like a police officer or a public service worker, your Social Security benefit would not be reduced. You would not be punished just for the very fact that you're now receiving a pension. We're going to be going over what Sherrod Brown is saying about this bill in a recent interview and his thoughts on whether or not it actually has a chance of passing. Watch.
Let's first start with the Social Security Fairness Act. When did you first introduce it and why reintroduce it?
Well, I'm working on it because it takes a while and we don't have enough sponsors yet. We don't have enough members in support. When I introduced it, it was really just a Republican from Maine and me and not much more than that. And we've grown the coalition. It's like the pension bill. And we fixed the pension for 100,000 Ohio workers that had lost 50% of their pension. At the beginning, we didn't have much support. We build it. And then in 2021, with a new president and a new Senate, we passed it and saved the pensions of 100,000 union workers, so their families. So that's what our mission is here, to keep at it until it happens.
And what is the objective of the act?
Well, the objective is that people that pay into Social Security, if you reach the minimum number of years, there's that requirement, you should get the full amount that you are due, whether you work in another line of work. But if you get your 40 hours paying to Social Security, you should get your whole pension, no questions asked. There's this provision in the law, probably pushed by Wall Street, that takes away some of that pension, and that's wrong.
And obviously a lot of public service workers are impacted by this.
These are mostly public service workers. They're people that, the way the law is if you have a pension because you qualified as a public servant, as a teacher or a firefighter or working at the county public health department. You are due that pension, but you're also due if you paid enough quarters into Social Security. So if you worked in the private sector for 10 years and you paid into Social Security, then you got a job at the health department or as a teacher, you should not lose that Social Security you paid into. And unfortunately, the law is such that they do. That's what we want to fix.
And one last question for you. I know this is already a concern, but there are Americans that aren't facing this issue, but are just concerned about Social Security as a whole, that their retirement won't exist. What's your message?
There is no question it will exist. There are very ultra-conservative politicians that don't believe in government. And for years, they've fought Social Security. They've tried to privatize it. There's still, there's a senator from Florida, member was the chairman of the Republican Senate Campaign Committee. He wants to sunset. He has a proposal to sunset Social Security after 5 years. No, we're not going to do that. We're always going to fight that. The public does not want Social Security to sunset or be cut or be privatized. We will always stand strong against privatization of Social Security or Medicare or the Veterans Administration.
Okay, so once again, that was Sherrod Brown. He is a Democrat in Ohio. Once again, this bill has support from both sides of the aisle. It has an excellent chance of passing. Whether or not they actually put this bill on the floor for a vote, it's going to be completely up to them. Of course, they do need to go through the procedural steps to get this thing to pass, but you can see the bill up on the screen. Once again, 319 co-sponsors. And if you look at the left-hand part of your screen, you will see that out of the co-sponsors, 208 of them happen to be Democrats. That's pretty much every Democrat in the House of Representatives. And then as far as Republicans go, we have 111 Republicans on board with this bill. And remember, for any bill to pass, they only need 218 votes in the House. They have well over 218 votes, more than enough votes right now in the House. And then as far as the Senate goes, I have no doubt they would have no issues passing that bill in the Senate as well. It just comes down to whether or not they're actually going to put this bill on the floor for a vote, or whether or not they're going to continue to kick the can down the road. And then once again, this bill would need to be reintroduced once again in 2025, because we will once again have a new Congress. Now, in some other news, of course, today there are going to be payments going out to certain beneficiaries of Social Security. Those payments are going to be right around $4,900 at the maximum, or more realistic, $1,900 on average. So according to CNET, Social Security may check 2024. Find out when your money will arrive. So we can see there once again that May 15th, Social Security payments are going to be going to those with birthdays falling between the 11th and 20th of any given month. That's of course how the payment dates are determined. So once again, today, May 15th, those payments are going to anyone with a birthday falling between the 11th and 20th of any given month. And then the following Wednesday after that, next Wednesday, May 22nd, those payments are going to be going to those with birthdays falling between the 21st and 31st of any given month. And then finally, the last day of May, if you're currently receiving SSI benefits, even though you already received one payment this month, on May 1st, you're also going to receive one final payment on May 31st. That is simply going to be your June payment coming early, because June 1st is falling on a Saturday. And anytime the first of a month falls on a Saturday, a Sunday, or a holiday, you're just going to be receiving your payment a little bit earlier. In this case, it is going to be on Friday, May 31st. That is going to be the second payment for all SSI beneficiaries. But that's all I have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.